Hello, this is Pastor Jones. Wanted to spend about 5 minutes with you today. Difficult but possible. You say, preacher, what do you mean by that? The Bible says in Romans 1:7, called to be saints. In this call to sainthood, we see not only the supreme glory of the Christian life, but we see the supreme difficulty. You never know how hard it is to be good until you try to be good. Try to do that which is right. We never know how many vices there are in us until we really try to practice all the virtues. We never know what sinners we are until we really try to be the saints that God has called you and I to be. It is comparatively easy to preach, to write, to compose, to conduct meetings, to engage in religious activities. But practically, through sainthood, all things are the hardest when we endeavor to be the saints God has called us to be. This New Testament insistent on sainthood is a broom which sweeps into every room and corner of our life and refuses to leave anything left undone. It is a flashlight which shines into every darksome niche of the heart and mind, of motive and desire. Inwardly, outwardly, through and through, you and I are called to be saints. Christianity puts its first emphasis on character, not on service. We are called to be saints. That is, we are called to be something before we try to be anything. This cannot be stressed too often. We are not saved by our character. We're not saved by our good works. It is Christ's character which saves us, not ourselves. We are called to be saints. That's what Paul says. A converted housemaid had learned her first lesson in practical sainthood when she said this: "Before my conversion, I swept around the mats. I now sweep under the mats as well." A preacher, after seemingly futile conversation to win a young soldier to Christ, suddenly thought to ask, "Was there nobody in your family that was a Christian?" The soldier looked at him and said, "Well, yeah, my dad was." "Well, didn't your dad, by his life that he lived before you, cause you to be attracted to Christ?" He said, "Not in the least bit. If anything, he pushed us away. Instead of diffusing the fragrance of a rose, that father was shooting forth, if you would, the spikes of a cactus plant." Have you ever met Christians like that? Or have you ever been a Christian like that? The father illustrated something which is true, sainthood is not. Instead of diffusing that fragrance, he repelled people away from Christ. True sainthood requires us to be unbending in principle, but kindly and fragrant in disposition. What is your disposition? Are people drawn to you or pushed away from you and consequently pushed away from Christ? Thank God that true sainthood, my friends, is possible. Look at the words again. Called to be saints. All God's challenges, my friends, are pledges. All his commands are enablings. If I must be, then I may be, whatever my circumstances. If I am meant to be a saint, then I myself must mean to be one. And my living Lord will make me one as I yield myself to him. And isn't that the secret? It's you and I every day yielding ourselves to Christ that gives you and I the wherewithal and the potential to be the saints that God has called us to be. He wants you to be that saint today. And I hope once again I've given you something to think about. This is Pastor Jones saying, until I see you next time.